Hello everyone, welcome to my classes, and this video is very special because it's on managerial decisions, accounting for managerial decisions, MCO-05 for MCOM first year. And let's see like a few important questions for this December TE exam. And before we proceed on to the video, let me tell you there are 35 previous videos of MCO-05 including all the numericals. So in this video we will be only covering the theory part, and for numericals you should watch my previous videos, which you will get the full playlist. I will be sharing the link of the playlist, so you can watch them from that. So that will help you a lot in the exam. Okay, so let's start with unit 1, accounting and overview. And this particular chapter you should know what is this accounting. Just learn this definition. Accounting is an art of recording, classifying, summarizing in a significant manner and in terms of money transactions and events which are a part at least of financial character, and interpreting the results thereof. So this is the complete definition of accounting. Okay, so for all commerce students you should have this definition on your tips. Okay, now let's move on to the different objectives of accounting. So why we do accounting? So basically, we need accounting for systematic recording of the financial transactions. I mean the amount, the date and all that. So you can specify in that. Then finding whether the firm is in profits or in losses. So that is very important for any business person to know where he is, right? And accordingly he make plans for the future. Then finding the financial position. So when we talk about the financial position, you should think about the assets and liabilities. So what are the assets available to the firm and how much liabilities it has to pay. So for this financial position we generally prepare a statement called balance sheet. Okay. Then fourthly, providing information to the interested parties. Now who are the interested parties? Basically all the stakeholders, all these creditors, tax authorities, investors, customers, government, so bankers. So all these are the interested parties. So a business firm needs to provide accounting information to these parties. Now here we are with the interested parties in the accounting information. So the first one is owners or the shareholders of the company, then creditors, government, the employees of the organization and the public. You can add a little more on this also, like customers, bankers, like that. Okay, now let's move on to different branches of accounting. Basically accounting is of three types. The first one is financial, then cost accounting and management accounting. So one by one we will discuss this. Now financial accounting and accounting, I don't think much difference in that. Basically financial accounting refers to the recording, classifying and summarizing the financial transactions and finding whether the the firm is in profits or losses. So these are the different functions or processes or advantages of financial accounting. First we will identify whether the transaction is in financial nature or non-financial. Then we will record the transaction properly, systematically in the books of accounts. Then we will classify and summarize the financial transactions. Then we will interpret the financial information, whether we have made profit or losses, our financial position, like that. And then all this information will be shared to the interested parties. So these are all the important roles. Let's see a few limitations of accounting. Basically accounting work is historical in nature, and we record only those transactions which already have happened. And the second one is actual cost. We generally record all the transactions in their actual cost and not at the market value. Then thirdly, quantitative information. We supply all the information in numbers, and accounting doesn't believe in qualitative information, like I mean the loyalty of the employees or as such, and not helpful in decision making. Basically, like we just can't trust, we can't I mean the management of a company cannot take decisions solely on the information provided by the accounting, and basically it is not reliable. So we need to analyze the different types of environment. So that is one thing, and there may be chances of manipulation. There may be some sort of mistakes which are done by the accountants. So that is also one problem. Then cost accounting, as the name implies, cost accounting is that branch of accounting which helps to find the cost of a product. So you can get the meaning from here. Okay friends, let's see the different functions or advantages of cost accounting. Firstly, we can find out the cost and service of a product. We can reduce wastages and the cost of production of the product when we analyze the information provided by the cost accountants. Then it helps to compare the cost of different periods, I mean different time periods, and on the basis we can set the standard cost. And it helps to prepare tenders and quotations. So when we are taking up any new projects, so in that sense, like we can prepare tenders. And then we have management accounting. Basically management accounting is the type of information, accounting information that the management needs to take decisions. So that is called management accounting. Okay, so you can expand this answer. Now let's move on to accounting concepts. So basically there are a few principles of accounting which are followed all over the world, and these principles are called as generally accepted accounting principles, GAAP. And all these principles are maybe categorized into two parts. One, concept at the recording stage, and second, concept at the reporting stage. So when we record the transactions, we generally take all these concepts into mind. The first one, business entity concept. We assume that business is an entity. It will stay forever. Its duration of existence is quite a number of years. So it is not going to close down in the near future. The second concept that we should take into account when we record a transaction, that the transactions must be in terms of money or finance. So money measurement concept, so that is all it records. Then historical record concept. So the accountant has to assume that the transactions have already been occurred in the past, and we are making an entry of that into the books of account. Then cost concept, where we try to find the cost of the goods and services or the transactions that we take, and the debits and credits and all that, so they are all recorded at cost and not at the market price or future cost. Then one very important concept, that is dual aspect, that is called double entry system. So as we know that accounting is only concerned with double entry system. I mean, for every debit there is an equal and opposite credit. So in that way it is properly balanced. Okay friends, आगे चलते हैं concept at the time of reporting stage. So when an accountant tries to report to the management, so what are the different concepts that he should take into account? The first one, he should assume that the firm is a going concern and it will not close down in the near future. Then accounting period concept, basically it is prepared for 1 year, that is from 1st April to 31st March. And there are some matching concept, like the debits must match with the credit, and some conservation concept is there, consistency concept is there, and full closure concept is there. So just learn all these 6 concepts. Okay, now let's move on to accounting standards. So what are these accounting standards? So these are accepted accounting principles which provide the basis for taking decisions or preparing financial statements. and you must learn these objectives of accounting standards. Basically it helps to take decisions, then it helps to make the information transparent, consistent and reliable as far as possible, and it also makes the information more meaningful and useful for the management. And again, like overall quality and presentation of reporting should be good enough. Okay, then comes importance of accounting standards, so you can highlight the same thing here. Okay, let's move on to unit 2, basic cost concept, and here in this chapter you should know the different types of cost. So we can classify cost on the basis of 5 important categories. The first one is on the basis of functions. So on the basis of functions we can divide the cost into 4 types. The first one is manufacturing cost, which are related to the manufacturing or producing of the product. Then we have administrative cost, which relates to the administration cost and operating cost. Then we have selling cost, when we try to sell the goods in the market, so the company incurs a lot of expenses. And then distribution cost. So these are the cost on the basis of functions. On the basis of identity, we can divide the cost into 2 parts. One is direct cost and indirect cost. So direct costs are directly related with the manufacturing of a product, and indirect cost includes all indirect costs like factory rent and salaries of the employees, like that. Now the third one is very important for your exam, like how can we divide the cost on the basis of variability. So it can be of 3 types: fixed cost, which remains fixed whether you produce or not; variable cost, it varies with production, more the production, more will be the variable cost; and semi-variable cost is a mixture of fixed and variable cost, where some part of cost is fixed, the other part is variable. On the basis of controllability, we can divide the cost into controllable and uncontrollable cost. So that is also very simple. Try to give all these examples. And on the basis of decision making, again we can divide the cost into 3 types: differential cost, sunk cost and opportunity cost. So always try to give examples, and this is the difference you must prepare, like the difference between fixed, variable and semi-variable cost. For a short note, you can revise this: what is cost unit and cost center. So basically cost unit is the unit of measurement of cost, and it is the quantity of product for which the price is quoted to the customers. For example, price per kg or price per liter and like that. And there can be 4 types of cost centers, like one is process, then production, then operation and lastly service. Okay. Now you should also know like what are the different elements of cost. So cost is composed of materials, labor and expenses. So again these are divided into direct material, indirect material, direct labor, indirect labor and direct expenses and indirect expenses. Now let's move on to different methods of costing. So basically these 6 types are there. One is job costing, where we try to find the cost of jobs, the job work that the firm has undertaken. The second one is contract costing, which is applicable when the company takes a contract or project. Then we have batch costing, where cost is determined on the basis of different batches, or when the production method passes through different stages. So there we do batch costing. Unit costing is per unit cost, it's simple. Then process costing, again like different processes, and for each process we determine the cost. And lastly lastly cost. Do remember the examples of this question is very important for the exam. Also you can prepare this cost sheet, a short note and its objectives. Let's move on to unit 3, financial statements. Basically financial statements, when we talk about this, think about trading, profit and loss and balance sheet. So all these 3 documents are prepared, statements are prepared to know the profit and loss and the financial position of the company. You must know like what are the natures or objectives of financial statements. So basically to take investment decisions and to know the nature of cash flows, the net sales, and to provide fair wages and good working conditions to the workers, and also to fix the taxation policy and subsidy. Okay, and these are the different types of financial statements we generally prepare in accounting. The first one, manufacturing account, trading account, profit and loss, just now I was telling you about. So just try to define this. We have already done in the previous classes. Okay friends, आगे चलते हैं. Advantages of financial statements. Basically these statements helps to take management proper decisions, and also it helps the management to take investment decisions, whether the company should undertake any new investment or not, what is the rate of return that is likely to get. So like this you can expand these points. It also helps to take employee decisions, like how much to be paid, their salary structures, the working conditions. तो ये सारे key points हैं जो आप लिख सकते हैं. Then it helps to find out the financial position of the company. It helps to do a SWOT analysis. I mean to find the strength and weaknesses, and competitors' strength, their weaknesses. There are some limitations of financial statements that also you can revise. Generally they do not reveal the true position of the business enterprise. So that is one problem. These are not realistic or practical, and basically they tell us the financial position of a company on one particular date or during one particular year. So that is very difficult to rely on, and it is historical in nature. This is one of the biggest drawback, because the market value is different from the cost. So like this, one difference you can work out between the revenue and capital expenditure. It's simple. Revenue expenditures are incurred for day-to-day expenses, and capital expenditures, they are incurred on fixed assets. And like that, deferred revenue expenditure, where the future expenditures are expected and kept aside. Let's move on to unit 4, understanding the financial statements. And here you should know like what are the reserves and what are the different types of reserves. When we talk about reserves, it is the part of profit that is kept aside by a company for some special purpose. So, and these are the 4 types of reserves that generally kept by the company. Revenue reserve, specific reserve, capital reserve, and secret reserve. So you must learn all these 4 types of reserves for the exam. You might get in the short notes also. What difference you can work out between provisions and reserves, that is also very important one. Okay, let's move on to unit 5, techniques of financial analysis. And here you will get numericals on ratio analysis. The different types of accounting ratios, like you must learn the different formulas of these ratios, like liquidity ratio, solvency ratio, then turnover ratio and profitability ratio. Again they are subdivided into different types of ratio. तो ये आपको करके जाने हैं for the exam. And why we do ratio analysis? What are the main objectives? Basically to find the profitability, liquidity, solvency and efficiency of the firm, and also to find the future projections and estimates, and to know the different areas where the company should pay attention. Then advantages and disadvantages of ratio analysis. So these are few important formulas for your numericals working. So you must learn these formulas properly. We have done this in class 11-12 also. Okay, unit 6 is on statement of change in the financial position. And here you should know what is this fund flow statement. As the name implies, we analyze the fund flow of a company during a particular period of time. And you must know like what are the different advantages of fund flow statements. So a company can know like how much working capital it needs for its working, and that helps to take the policy decisions regarding the company. Then it also tells the investors about how much they are likely to invest in the company. Then it also helps to find out the credit worthiness of the company, and on that basis the company can get loans. So like that. One difference again you can work out between fund flow statement and cash flow statement. Very important one for the exam. Okay, let's move on to unit 7, cash flow analysis. And here you should know the meaning of cash flow statements, its advantages. You might get one numerical on cash flow statement. So be very particular about this. This is the format that I have prepared. So you might get, you can also mention this format, because we generally find out, we prepare cash flow statements to find these three cash flow from different activities. The first one is operating activities, then investing activities, and financing activities. So like what are the different types of items that we generally add or subtract to find out the cash flow during a particular period. Okay, so must practice this numerical. Okay, then we have budgeting, unit 8. Now you should know like what is this budgeting. Budgeting is the process of preparing plans for a future, the estimation of the revenue and expenditure. So that is called budgeting. And these are the different objectives of budgeting, like to control cost and maximize profit, and to run the business efficiently, to coordinate the activities of different departments and functions, and to calculate the deviations if there are, and then take corrective actions for that. So like that. Some essentials of a good budgeting that also you should take into account, that it should be well planned before preparing, and authority and responsibility should be clearly defined in the budget. A budget committee should be formed which looks after the budget, and there should be a good accounting system which provides accurate information on the basis of which we prepare budgets. And any deviations should be reported immediately to the management so that they can take proper decisions, actions against these deviations. And it should be well supported by the management, top management. Okay. You can also mention the advantages of budgeting, how budgeting helps. So basically we can rightfully use the resources, like the resources will not be wasted if we prepare a good budget. And it helps to coordinate the functions or activities of different departments of an organization, and also like it acts as a self-examination for the success of an organization. It helps to fix the goals, and accordingly the company tries to prepare for that. And it also helps to measure the performance of various departments. Some limitations are there which you should learn, like it is not an exact science, it is just an estimate. So it is hard to believe on budgeting. And generally this top management do not provide sufficient support to the budgeting committee. That is one problem. And budgeting should be followed by control actions which are not there generally, practically. And basically it is a expensive and time taking process to install a budgeting system. Then some essentials of establishing a budgeting system in a company. So to establish this, the company needs to first establish a budget center, a budget committee, a budget officer, then budget manual, budget period. So like that. So these are different steps which are to be followed while preparing a budgeting system for a company. Now let's come to different types of budget. So we can divide the budget on the basis of time, on the basis of functions, and on the basis of flexibility. On the basis of time, we can divide the budget into three parts. लॉन्ग टर्म बजट, शॉर्ट टर्म बजट एंड करंट बजट, इनके नाम में ही इनके आंसर्स लिखे हुए हैं। तो जैसे लॉन्ग टर्म बजट जो होते हैं वो 5 से 10 साल के लिए प्रिपेयर करते हैं, शॉर्ट टर्म जनरली 1 साल का होता है, करंट बजट जो होता है 1 मंथ या 1 वीक या 1 डे का भी हो सकता है। ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ फंक्शंस, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, जहाँ पे वी प्रिपेयर सेल्स बजट, प्रोडक्शन बजट, परचेज बजट, रिसर्च बजट, फाइनेंशियल बजट, मार्केटिंग बजट, देन कैश बजट एंड मास्टर बजट। मास्टर बजट पे आपको शॉर्ट नोट्स भी मिल जाते हैं कभी कभी, एंड इन ये सारे बजट्स को आपको बहुत अच्छे से प्रिपेयर करना है फॉर द एग्जाम। On the basis of flexibility, we can divide the budgeting into 2 types. One is fixed budgeting, the other is flexible budgeting. So fixed budgeting is prepared on the basis of standards, and they generally do not change with change in time and situation. So these are long term budgets. Flexible budgeting is good. I mean, we can change them as and when required. They are prepared for generally for short period of time. तो कंपनी जनरली फ्लेक्सिबल बजटिंग में ही जाती है, फिक्स्ड बजटिंग आर लेस पॉपुलर। ओके, यूनिट 9, प्रिपरेशन एंड रिव्यू ऑफ बजट्स। यहाँ से आप कर सकते हैं व्हाट इज़ कैश बजट एंड व्हाट आर द डिफरेंट मेथड्स ऑफ प्रिपेयरिंग दिस कैश बजट। तो ये 3 मेथड आपको याद रखने हैं, रिसीट्स एंड पेमेंट मेथड, एडजस्टेड प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट मेथड एंड बैलेंस शीट मेथड। सो वी कैन प्रिपेयर ए कैश बजट on the basis of these methods. Unit 10 की बात करते हैं, approaches to budgeting, and you should know what is this zero based budgeting, जिसको हम लोग शॉर्ट में बोलते हैं JBB, and basically इसके नाम में ही है जीरो बेस्ड, that means the budgeting starts from zero, null, and इसके भी बहुत सारे advantages हैं sorry. So firstly, it helps to check the efficiency of the business enterprise, and it is also very much accurate because we are preparing budget from zero level, and it helps to reduce the cost of production, and like it also helps in coordination and communication activity of a company. तो इससे क्या होगा कि भाई कंट्रोलिंग अच्छी हो सकती है फ्रॉम JBB, एंड बाकी के जो वेस्टफुल एक्टिविटीज़ हैं उनको भी कंट्रोल करता है JBB, तो बहुत अच्छा है कोई भी कंपनी के लिए। कुछ एक डिसएडवांटेजेस हैं जो आपको रखने हैं दिमाग में, दैट इसके लिए आपको बहुत मैन पावर चाहिए, सो इट इज़ वेरी टाइम कंज्यूमिंग एंड एक्सपेंसिव, एंड यू ऑल्सो नीड द सर्विसेज ऑफ एक्सपर्ट प्रोफेशनल्स। ओके, नाउ लेट्स मूव ऑन टू परफॉर्मेंस बजटिंग. Now what is this? A budget that refers to programs, functions, I mean basically to find the performance of the employees or the job. So for that also company prepares a budget which is called performance budgeting, and ये हैं इसके main characteristics, जैसे कि इसके characteristics या फिर role भी लिख सकते हैं, no problem with that. यहाँ से हम better management कर सकते हैं, and we can also derive accountability, and performance budgeting में एक और बढ़िया चीज़ है कि it is very very transparent, and it also helps to improve the communication between different departments, and lastly it helps to take decisions. More or less सारे points जो है ना concepts के एक जैसे ही हैं, तो वो आपको थोड़ी आसानी हो जाएगी to learn, right? Even if you do not know the answer, write the answer. Then comes advantages of performance budgeting and disadvantages of performance budgeting. इसके बारे में भी आपको एग्जाम्स में करने हैं. यूनिट 11 की बात करते हैं, स्टैंडर्ड कॉस्टिंग पे है, एंड दिस इज अगेन अ टेक्निक वेयर द कंपनी prepares standard for each product and cost. I mean इसके बहुत advantages हैं, like it helps to measure the efficiency of the employees, it helps to fix the prices of the product and services, it helps to control the cost, and we can also value the exact value of the stocks, and it also helps to formulate the incentives and rewards for the employees. तो like this इसके बहुत सारे advantages हैं. कुछ एक लिमिटेशंस हैं बिकॉज इट इज़ वेरी डिफ़िकल्ट टू सेट स्टैंडर्ड्स फॉर ए जॉब और फॉर एन एम्प्लॉई, very difficult. And basically it is not suitable for small scale enterprises because they cannot afford to have a standard costing for their organization. And it's very difficult to follow a uniform standard for one job or employee. So like this, let's look at this objectives of standard costing. Standard costing के main objects क्या हैं? First one, to control the cost. जितना कम से कम हो cost मैन्युफैक्चरिंग का या फिर बहुत किस्म के कॉस्ट होते हैं तो उनको कंट्रोल करना. इट हेल्प्स द मैनेजमेंट टू टेक प्रॉपर डिसीशंस एंड एक एम्प्लॉयज़ के अंदर एक बढ़िया एक मोटिवेशन जाता है टू वर्क हार्ड बिकॉज द स्टैंडर्ड्स आर सेट एंड दे ट्राई टू अचीव दोज स्टैंडर्ड्स. And it also helps to fix prices of the products and services on the basis of the standards and actuals. तो उनके कंपैरिजन करके प्राइस फिक्सिंग कर सकते हैं हम लोग, और पॉलिसीज़ फ्रेम करने में भी ये काफ़ी हेल्प करता है स्टैंडर्ड कॉस्टिंग. एक डिफरेंस आप वर्कआउट कर सकते हैं बिटवीन स्टैंडर्ड कॉस्टिंग एंड बजटिंग, एंड देयर आर सम एसेंशियल एलिमेंट्स फॉर ए गुड स्टैंडर्ड कॉस्टिंग. तो इसके लिए यू शुड एस्टेब्लिश द कॉस्ट सेंटर्स जहाँ पे डिफरेंट प्रोडक्ट्स और सर्विसेज के कॉस्ट वी फाइंड द कॉस्ट ऑफ दोज एंड देन वी विल क्लासीफाई देम इनटू डिफरेंट अकाउंट्स एंड डिफरेंट स्टैंडर्ड्स आर सेट फॉर ईच एंड एवरी जॉब एंड देन वी सेट द स्टैंडर्ड कॉस्ट. सो लाइक दिस. बढ़िया क्वेश्चन है. Variance analysis part 1. You should know what is this variance. As we know it is the difference between the standard cost and actual cost, and इस चैप्टर से आपको मिल सकते हैं न्यूमेरिकल्स, दैट इज श्योर. तो ये चैप्टर को आपको अच्छे से करने हैं. कुछ एक इम्पॉर्टेंट मैंने यहाँ पे न्यूमेरिकल्स दिए हुए हैं, आई मीन फार्मूला, जिनको आपको लर्न करना है फॉर द एग्जाम. सो ऑल दीज फार्मूलाज मस्ट बी लर्न प्रॉपरली. ओके, यूनिट 14 में चलते हैं. रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी अकाउंटिंग है यहाँ पे, एंड बेसिकली इट इज़ अ मेथड ऑफ बजटिंग. यहाँ पे मैंने इसका डेफिनेशन लिखा हुआ है दैट रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी अकाउंटिंग इज़ अ सिस्टम ऑफ मैनेजमेंट अकाउंटिंग वेयर स्पेसिफिक इंडिविजुअल्स आर मेड रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर कंट्रोलिंग द कॉस्ट. तो ये भी एक टाइप की अकाउंटिंग है जहाँ पे एक पर्सन को रिस्पॉन्सिबल बनाया जाता है एंड ही लुक्स आफ्टर कंट्रोलिंग द कॉस्ट. कुछ एक प्रिंसिपल्स हैं जो फॉलो करने होते हैं रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी अकाउंटेंट को. फर्स्टली रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी सेंटर्स एस्टेब्लिश करने होते हैं कंपनी में, एंड देन लिमिट्स टू कंट्रोलेबल कॉस्ट बिकॉज कंट्रोलेबल कॉस्ट आर अंडर द कंट्रोल ऑफ द कंपनी. फ्लेक्सिबल बजटिंग इज अनदर प्रिंसिपल, एंड परफॉर्मेंस रिपोर्टिंग. सो ये 4 मेन प्रिंसिपल्स हैं रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी अकाउंटेंट के, एंड इसके एडवांटेजेस एंड डिसएडवांटेजेस ये भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है फॉर योर एग्जाम. ओके, यूनिट 15 में चलते हैं. मार्जिनल कॉस्टिंग. व्हाट इज दिस मार्जिनल कॉस्टिंग? एंड बेसिकली इट इज़ अ टेक्निक बाय विच मार्जिनल कॉस्ट such as variable cost is charged to a cost. तो मार्जिनल, दैट मीन्स मार्जिनल कॉस्ट का मतलब ही होता है कि द कॉस्ट विच इज़ इनकर्ड टू प्रोड्यूस वन एडिशनल कमोडिटी. सो दैट इज़ कॉल्ड मार्जिनल कॉस्ट एंड द होल प्रोसेस इज़ कॉल्ड मार्जिनल कॉस्टिंग. एंड इसके फीचर्स, इंपॉर्टेंट फीचर्स ऑफ मार्जिनल कॉस्टिंग. ओके, एक शॉर्ट नोट कर सकते हैं प्रॉफिट वॉल्यूम रेशियो पे, एंड जैसे कि इसके नेम में है कि प्रॉफिट और वॉल्यूम ये दोनों का रेशियो, आई मीन ये फॉर्मूला आपको याद रखना है फॉर द एग्जाम. PV रेशियो इक्वल टू सेल्स माइनस वेरिएबल कॉस्ट डिवाइडेड बाय सेल्स, और सेल्स माइनस वेरिएबल कॉस्ट को हम लोग कंट्रीब्यूशन बोलते हैं इन अकाउंटिंग. सो इट इज़ अ रेशियो ऑफ कंट्रीब्यूशन एंड सेल्स. And some uses are there. Advantages of marginal costing, like it helps to fix the prices of goods and services. It helps to explore new market potentials. That is one good thing. And it also helps to make a proper profit planning, and it helps to make the purchase decisions. And it also helps when we want to introduce a new product in the market. तो बहुत सारे एडवांटेजेस हैं मार्जिनल कॉस्टिंग के, एंड साइड बाय साइड देयर आर सम डिसएडवांटेजेस ऑल्सो, बिकॉज जितनी भी अकाउंटिंग की जो जितनी भी कॉन्सेप्ट हैं सभी के लिमिटेशंस हैं. एंड व्हाई दिस लिमिटेशंस आर देयर, क्योंकि ये इम्प्रैक्टिकल है, एक्सटर्नल रिपोर्टिंग के लिए ठीक नहीं है, एक्सपेंसिव है, नॉट सूटेबल फॉर स्मॉल ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस, हिस्टोरिकल कॉस्ट मेंटेन करता है. तो लाइक दैट बहुत सारे इसके डिसएडवांटेजेस हैं जो आप लिख सकते हैं. यूनिट 16 में चलते हैं, ब्रेक इवन एनालिसिस. सिंपल चीज़ है ये, नॉट वेरी डिफ़िकल्ट वन. बेसिकली यहाँ पे हम लोग स्टडी करते हैं कॉस्ट, वॉल्यूम, प्रॉफिट को. तो ये तीन कॉन्सेप्ट आपको ध्यान में रखने हैं व्हेन यू विल ट्राई टू डिफाइन ब्रेक इवन एनालिसिस. एंड इसके आपको मेथड्स याद में रखने हैं. हाउ यू विल फाइंड the break even analysis? Two methods are there, one is mathematical, the other is graphical. Mathematical method आपको एग्जाम में आ सकता है for numericals. ओके, तो ये कुछ मैथमेटिकल मेथड के मैंने यहाँ पे फार्मूलाज लिखे हुए हैं. तो ये फार्मूला आपको लर्न करने हैं फॉर द एग्जाम. एंड ये है ग्राफिकल मेथड, जहाँ पे एज यू कैन सी इन दिस फिगर दैट दिस मिडिल पॉइंट इज ब्रेक इवन पॉइंट, and this red region is the loss region, above that profit region. तो like this. कुछ एक assumptions हैं वो भी आप highlight कर सकते हैं if you get a question on this, that costs are divided into two parts, fixed and variable. Fixed cost remain constant, variable cost changes with production, and selling price remains constant, technology and methods of production remains constant. तो like that. ओके, एक शॉर्ट नोट कर सकते हैं प्रॉफिट वॉल्यूम ग्राफ पे, ये भी कभी कभी एग्जाम में आ जाते हैं. एंड दीज आर फ्यू इम्पॉर्टेंट फॉर्मूलाज फॉर दिस कॉस्टिंग. ओके, आगे चलते हैं. यूनिट 17 में रेलिवेंट कॉस्ट फॉर डिसीजन मेकिंग. यहाँ पे आप एग्जाम्स के लिए प्रिपेयर कर सकते हैं. व्हाट इज डिफरेंशियल कॉस्टिंग? बेसिकली इट इज़ द डिफरेंस बिटवीन द कॉस्ट एंड ऑल्टरनेटिव्स. तो कॉस्ट ऑफ ऑल्टरनेटिव्स बोला जाता है इसको, या फिर इसको रेलिवेंट कॉस्ट भी बोलते हैं हम लोग, कि भाई जो चीज़ हम लोग जो नहीं करते उसकी कॉस्ट, उसके ऑल्टरनेटिव की कॉस्ट वो फाइंड आउट कर सकते हैं, विच इज़ कॉल्ड डिफरेंशियल कॉस्टिंग. एंड वेयर इट इज़ एप्लीकेबल, हाउ इट इज़ यूजफुल, हाउ द मैनेजमेंट मेक्स यूज़ ऑफ डिफरेंशियल कॉस्टिंग. तो ये चीज़ आप कर सकते हैं. देन यूनिट 18 में चलते हैं, रिपोर्टिंग टू मैनेजमेंट. ये भी इंपॉर्टेंट चैप्टर है. एंड यहाँ पे आपको मैनेजमेंट रिपोर्टिंग का डेफिनेशन, इसके ऑब्जेक्टिव्स एंड द डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ रिपोर्ट्स विच आर प्रिपेयर्ड बाय द अकाउंटेंट्स फॉर द सेक ऑफ मैनेजमेंट. तो दिस 4 टाइप्स ऑफ रिपोर्ट्स आर प्रिपेयर्ड, लाइक यूजर रिपोर्ट, रिपोर्ट बेस्ड ऑन इंफॉर्मेशन, रिपोर्ट्स बेस्ड ऑन नेचर, एंड फंक्शनल क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ रिपोर्ट्स. So these are the 4 types of reports which you can highlight in this particular answer. There are different methods, I mean modes of reporting to the management. तो ये भी simple है, not very difficult. We like reports can be in written form, in graphical form or in oral form. तो written form सबसे ज़्यादा popular है, written reporting system. And what are the essentials of a good reporting? It must be accurate, simple, reliable, economical, timeliness. तो ऐसे बहुत सारे पॉइंट्स हैं, कॉमन है, नॉट वेरी डिफिकल्ट वन. ओके, यूनिट 19 में चलते हैं, रिसेंट डेवलपमेंट इन अकाउंटिंग. ये चैप्टर बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है फॉर योर एग्जाम. एंड यहाँ पे आपको शॉर्ट नोट्स में मिल सकते हैं, 10 मार्क्स के क्वेश्चन में भी मिल सकते हैं. एक तो है ये इन्फ्लेशन अकाउंटिंग. एज वी नो कि इन्फ्लेशन हो ही रहा है, एंड उसके लिए भी कंपनी स्पेंड करती है पैसा टू नो द ट्रेंड ऑफ इन्फ्लेशन. एंड इसके इम्पॉर्टेंट ऑब्जेक्टिव्स, एक और बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, दैट इज़ ह्यूमन रिसोर्स अकाउंटिंग. आई मीन एज वी नो कि ह्यूमन रिसोर्स इज़ वन ऑफ द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट रिसोर्स इन एनी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. सो द कॉस्ट इनकर्ड इन सिलेक्शन, हायरिंग, ट्रेनिंग, डेवलपमेंट ऑफ ह्यूमन रिसोर्स. So for that also we do a type of accounting which is called HRA or human resource accounting. And these objectives you can learn like objectives of human resource. Basically जो सबसे बड़ी objective होती है to minimize the cost. For that we prepare this type of accounting. And advantages like There are a lot of advantages. We can get good employees for working, and it's easy to fix their salaries, wages, incentives and all that. And it also helps to minimize the cost एंड लाइक दैट बहुत सारे एडवांटेजेस हैं जो आप पॉइंट्स बना के लिख सकते हैं. एक और अकाउंटिंग है सोशल अकाउंटिंग विच लुक्स आफ्टर द सोशल वेलफेयर ऑफ द द सोसाइटी. एंड एज वी नो कि टुडे लाइक द कंपनीज हैव अंडरस्टूड दैट द सोसाइटी मस्ट बी सेटिस्फाइड सो दैट दे कैन एग्जिस्ट फॉर ए लॉन्गर पीरियड ऑफ टाइम इन द मार्केट. तो कोई भी तरीके का पॉल्यूशन या फिर अनडिज़ायरेबल सोशल एक्टिविटी वो फर्म को नहीं करना चाहिए. एंड फॉर दैट ऑल्सो द कंपनी प्रिपेयर्स अ टाइप ऑफ अकाउंटिंग कॉल्ड सोशल अकाउंटिंग. एक और बहुत ही हॉट कॉन्सेप्ट है एनवायरमेंटल अकाउंटिंग, जो एनवायरनमेंट के ऊपर कुछ एक कॉस्ट करने होते हैं कंपनी को. एंड ये रिसेंट फेनोमेना है, नॉट अ वेरी ओल्ड वन. 1990 में ये स्टार्ट हुआ था. एंड एनवायरमेंटल प्रोटेक्शन के लिए भी कंपनी को बहुत सारे एक्सपेंसेस करने होते हैं विच आर रिकॉर्डेड इन एनवायरमेंटल अकाउंटिंग. एंड यू कैन ऑल्सो हाईलाइट दिस important objectives of environmental accounting. One more concept, strategic cost management, and this concept is also you are likely to get in the short notes. एक और बहुत ही इम्पॉर्टेंट है एक्टिविटी बेस्ड कॉस्टिंग, ABC बोला जाता है इसको. एंड एज द नेम इम्प्लाइज वी आर assigning cost or overheads to product, and the main object is to control the cost and prepare a proper pricing strategy. ये डिफरेंस जो आप स्क्रीन पे देख पा रहे हैं बिटवीन ट्रेडिशनल कॉस्टिंग एंड एक्टिविटी बेस्ड कॉस्टिंग, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर द एग्जाम. ओके, ये कुछ एक न्यूमेरिकल्स हैं जो मैंने प्रीवियस वीडियोस में एक्सप्लेन किए हुए हैं. तो ये सारे न्यूमेरिकल्स आपको प्रैक्टिस करने हैं. मार्जिनल कॉस्टिंग, स्टैंडर्ड कॉस्टिंग, ब्रेक इवन एनालिसिस पे है, देन प्रोजेक्ट पे है, आई मीन प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस एप्रोप्रिएशन अकाउंट पे है, रेशियो एनालिसिस, कैश फ्लो स्टेटमेंट. तो ये कुछ एक 4-5 टाइप के न्यूमेरिकल्स हैं जो आप प्रैक्टिस कर सकते हैं फॉर द एग्जाम. सो लाइक दिस. सो माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, दीज आर फ्यू इम्पॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चंस जो आप कर सकते हैं फॉर द एग्जाम. एंड होप यू विल गेट ऑल these questions and do well in the exam. Wishing you a very best of luck. Thank you very much for watching this video.